Episode 135.
Woo!
Oh.
Wow.
And I'm keeping it secret tonight. Nobody can even see what we watched tonight. So this will actually be a real surprise for them. I'm excited.
Let me just say, we are burning through all of the remaining good movies on our list.
That is maybe not true because it's not the 40s and 50s.
We're not talking about this movie, right? This was not one of the good ones.
What?
Woo!
Well,
Here we go.
Controversial opinion alert from Zach.
Well, dude, we gotta have him. We gotta have that.
Get the shades.
Type of action. Oh,
this is
here
about
he
to
goes.
get roasted.
okay.
Oh, there he is. Look at him. He's looking good. He's looking fresh. Oh, he's got it. He's got the thing.
I got it, guys.
All right.
I told my buddy Tyler when I...
There it is. Everything.
And Zach
Classic.
has a soundboard again.
Ready
Took that whole-
spaghetti.
Took that whole stimulus check and just pumped it right into a soundboard. Just top of the line.
much to the chagrin of everyone except Zach.
I already see we do have some guesses in the chat. No, that is not what we watched tonight. Torpedo U-235. That is still on the list, but that is not what we watched.
Damn.
And I'm just kidding, Zach. I love your sound effects.
And then all of a sudden, the viewers start dropping. That's what it is. Like,
I'm out
that's
of
what
here.
we came for. So that's not what we have tonight. Sorry, guys. Dude, this is totally not even related to sub movies. Totally. I mean, we talk about bowling on the podcast quite a bit, and I did something I haven't done in years last night. Jamie was a witness.
Did you bowl over 100?
Of course, I bowled over 100. All right. I threw 3 gutters in a row.
Oh, were you drunk?
I mean,
No.
not that drunk. Like I was drinking, but like it was bad. It was rough. And I was on the cusp. I had a game like right before that where for 6 frames I threw 5 strikes and then a 9 spare, and then I tanked and I ended with like a 182. I was like, dude, this is bad. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh no, I like that. This is what we got going on. This is what we got going on. Oh, okay. Now I know who's in the chat. I do love your photos, by the way. They look awesome. I have been following you, and the aerial stuff is amazing. So,
Listeners,
podcasting.
listeners don't
Fantastic
understand.
Fantastic podcasting right now.
This is
Kyle reading chat, but not reciting the question or comment.
Yeah. So that's what that is.
Jesus. This is gonna be maybe the last episode.
It's like what they do on Rogan, right? They're like, just roll the clip, and then you can't even hear it or see it, and you're like, what's that about?
what's the difference between Kyle?
Rogan and us? I don't know.
You actually cut out, Zach.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry. I said, what's the difference between Rogan and us? To
Everything.
you, Kyle. Yeah, I was going to say, like about...
Yeah. Yes.
About what, like 3 million listeners per episode?
Yeah.
Ish, you know.
Well, no, we have 3 million bots, I think.
Yeah, that's what we're all
Listeners.
about.
Right.
You might have listeners in the U.S., but we are worldwide, hitting it up, tearing it up. Anyways, should we do this?
You want to dive right in?
I'm waiting for you to
I'm
play
ready
the
for
sound
it.
clip.
We doing it? Who, you waiting
I'd
for
love
Zach
to,
to play a
yes.
sound clip?
Wait a second. Before we get crazy,
Yeah.
Ben.
Yeah.
We have something, an acknowledgement, a celebration of someone's life we need to share today.
We do, and it's not tongue in cheek in any way. I was actually, I don't know, I was bizarrely stunned by this. I mean, people pass every day, but especially, Hollywood actors. I mean, there's just so many of them, but really sad to hear the passing of Jessica Walter today from Arrested Development fame for me and Archer. I remember watching those, but I mean, she's been around forever. Probably means something to someone else out there from her acting days in the 70s, 80s, all that as well. But Arrested Development was a phenomenal show, one of my favorites, and paying homage. We got one of our favorite quotes. Take her away, Zach.
Here we go. one of hundreds because she was so good, so great.
I mean, it's one banana, Michael. What could it cost? $10?
You've never actually set foot in a supermarket, have you?
I don't have time for this.
We won't stay on this too long, but my God, she made every scene she was in on that show. Like from her facial expressions to the way she read the dialogue was just so damn funny.
She's perfect. And then, I mean, when she was Archer's mom and Archer also, I mean, just absolutely nailed that role in the voiceover work. She's incredible.
And I saw something on Twitter that I didn't realize, and it may, it's Twitter, so maybe it's false, and I just fell for the trap.
No.
The false information, but apparently she was the mom on Dinosaurs. Like Short Dinosaurs.
Oh my God! Seriously?
Really?
That's what they said online. They were like, "Yeah,
wow."
And she's in a bunch of stuff. Just Shoot Me and a bunch of other ones as well.
Just Shoot Me. I gotta look this stuff up later. I love Dinosaurs growing up,
dude. I'll tell you what. Dinosaurs came on, maybe it was like Netflix or something a few years ago or whatever. And I was talking to my wife. I'm like, oh, I used to really like this when I was growing up. Like, let's watch it. And so we watched the first episode. And
dude, it's
like, it is insane. Cause like, I can't even remember his name. The dad, he comes back from work and the wife's talking to him. And she's like, oh, hey, honey, let me tell you about your day. And then he literally says, this is a kid's show. He literally says, he's like, I don't give a damn about your day.
Like, dude, what? Dinosaurs is one of a kind. We could literally set sail into a Dinosaurs podcast. Season 1,000. Season 1,000. It's gonna be way down.
Mark it down, Brom. Season 1,000.
But Dinosaurs was like risque. I cannot believe for the life of me there's a group of people sitting in a room that were like, yeah, fund it. Fuck it. Like I just and the way the series ended.
Right.
We know how it ended, right? The fucking asteroid. Like, they were all dead. So, intense shit when you're 8.
It's hardcore. Anyways.
No, let's keep talking about it.
Keep talking dinosaurs?
Dive.
What began as an innocent conversation among friends would soon spiral out of control and later be referred to by future generations as the eighth wonder of the modern world. Mac East Studios takes you on the journey of your lifetime as your captains, the artist formerly known as Brom, Jamie the Ointment, Kyle El Capitan, and the Gruesome Twosome present Submersion.
Oh, you do it manual.
So what you just missed during the intro is me getting cussed out by Zach. I still, if you're watching, I have to put his face on our graphic there, and I haven't done it.
Just put me in.
Good things take time.
Just a string with my face and a shark biting my head in half.
Okay,
that's all you need. Or a torpedo.
Okay, we'll see what I can do. As you know, and Brom knows, I am extremely talented with graphical things. I do it all on my own. I'm totally just kidding. Brom is the mastermind. So,
thank you.
You have some amazing memes, though, Kyle. Your memes.
No, they're the worst.
No,
the meme game, top of the line.
Yes,
it is.
Yes, Kyle. That's
I almost
2
teed
against
off
1.
on one of your Twitter
2 against 1
posts today.
You what?
I almost teed off on one of your Twitter posts today. It was just like so lame. It's like you're already like neck deep in the dad jokes and just.
Oh yeah, you talking about the loudest sounds on earth?
Yeah.
If you were in my house, you'd understand.
You want to recite it? Go ahead and recite
What's
it.
What's the joke, Kyle?
All right, here. I tweeted this morning. Loudest sounds on earth. Number 1, Krakatoa volcanic eruption. Number 2, hydrogen bomb explosion. Number 3, Godzilla leveling Tokyo. Number 4, my wife getting ready for work in the morning. Yeah, buddy. There you go. See,
you know what? I actually
have a laugh track?
My previous statement.
You have a laugh track?
No,
oh, that's it. That's all we got.
That's all we got this week.
Oh man, whatever. All right. Anyways, yeah, my tweets and memes are just unreal, out of this world. So, episode 135. What did we get to watch? The guy who's hating on me. What did we get to watch?
You know what? I'll answer that question with a sound clip that was That was played way too many times in this ass movie. This sound clip was played way too many times.
Okay.
That right there
that made
me
me
want to
mad.
punch myself in the face.
Yeah. I'm
Terrible.
glad.
I didn't notice it.
Are you serious? Oh my
The
god.
whale noises?
I've watched this movie twice now too.
That is like that stuck out so many times to me. I was just like, what's going on?
Anyways, so I went
will
downtown. I needed a bus. I needed to take a bus somewhere. A Greyhound bus. Just joking.
Oh.
We watched Greyhound, the movie.
That was good. That was a really great intro. Yeah, Tom Hanks.
I cut Ben off though. I'm sorry, Ben. You go ahead.
Yeah, we watched Greyhound. He was asking me to answer, but that's okay.
Oh, I thought you said the guy that cussed him out. I'm sorry.
What was
I think we've all been hating on Kyle though, so I guess it was a little ambiguous. So
I'm sorry.
No worries. I forgive you.
But I'm glad you had that sound clip,
dude. It's because it's just.
It's so much.
I'll get to my review. Whatever. Keep going.
I know. That's what I'll talk about in mine too.
2020 film. I watched it when it came out on Apple, whatever they call it, Apple TV,
Plus. Yeah.
Apple Plus. Is that right?
Apple
I
TV.
think
Plus,
it's Apple.
Yes.
Apple TV's the thing, right? That you like
the thing
that you plug into your TV. I don't know, man. I'm not rich.
Best we got.
You know? I don't have one.
Regardless, came out last year. It starred Tom Hanks, America's sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
Not tongue-in-cheek, legendary actor. Elizabeth Shue, very small role, but she's second billed here.
Yeah, interesting how small that role was and why Elizabeth Shue would be in that role. It makes me wonder if the film was longer, but then they cut it down to the much shorter running time of what we got here.
And then really of else of note, got to go down the list here a little bit, but it's actually this actor's fifth portrayal in a submarine movie or TV show.
Spoiler alert.
Sounds like Jamie knows the answer. It's Thomas Kretschmann.
Kretschmann as Captain Greywood. Ooh.
Yeah, he does a little howl. That was a pretty good impression by Jamie there. But Thomas Kretschmann has been in Das Boot, the TV series, The Sinking of the Laconia, In Enemy Hands, and U-571, where he played the Nazi captain.
Yeah, the only other person of kind of note, because his face is somewhat familiar, he's like a character actor of sorts, is Stephen Graham.
Yeah.
And the only thing I saw when I was kind of looking him up was the fact that he was rumored to be in the role of Ringo in the Robert Zemeckis Yellow Submarine movie.
Huh.
But that never got made. It was supposed to be made in preparation for the London Olympics, if you remember our Yellow Submarine episode. But it fell through, and he was rumored for that role.
Huh, it's an interesting little fun fact.
Back on the main character, too.
Back on the topic, yeah, he was. I liked him in this. I thought he did a great job with it. On the topic though of Thomas Kretschmann with 5, is that close to the record of portrayals among actors in submarine films and TV? I mean, that's a pretty lofty number.
We have some people in the older ones like Bikel. I forget his name. He's a Russian guy, so he was in a bunch of them. I'm trying to think of who else. Ernest Borgnine, he was in a number of them.
Borgnine was
Borgnine, baby. It's my new fitness plan.
I feel like you've been on it for a while.
And I have it. So
it shows.
Bond, Q, Llewellyn,
David Llewellyn.
Yeah, Desmond Llewellyn. Yeah, he was in obviously in a bunch of them because of the James Bond. Yeah. Anywho, Greyhound. 2020. The director wasn't really super of note. He won an Academy Award for a short film and then made a not very well-known first feature, and this was the second feature. And yeah, this came in. I started it up, and I was like, buckle up, I'm ready for a 2-hour and 30-minute epic. And guess what? Not the case. 91 minutes long.
And that's
shortest, actually shorter than that even.
I was gonna say that's like 10 minutes of credits, dude. This came.
The credits were crazy.
They really started the credits way early, and I was like, "Whoa, wait, what?" So it was kind of amazing. It really felt like an old 40s, 50s movie, and I guess very similar to what was the one? Battle of the Atlantic 1940, whatever that one that they called with Humphrey Bogart. Very similar plot too. The one that was all about the Merchant Marines.
Very true.
That we watched, and very similar. I think it was probably even somewhat the same event. Same event being a vague notion, because what this is portraying is Battle of the Atlantic, where they were bringing all kinds of supplies across the Atlantic Ocean. So these giant convoys, many boats, all kind of defended by a set of destroyers that would go with them. And because of, I don't know if you guys know this, but the ocean, pretty big, right?
Seriously, is it?
Oh yeah, it's not small. And so it used to be the case back when the ocean was huge. Now the ocean's much smaller, but back then airplanes couldn't go between the two sides as easily. And there was this thing they called the Black Pit, where they didn't have air cover while they were out there. And so they were literally just at the defense of the destroyers. And so that's kind of the setup for what this movie is. Anything else to add before I launch into the rest of it, or have you already started the timer?
I did when you started talking about the Black Pit. I thought that was...
It counts.
I thought you were going.
Counts.
Yeah.
It's already gone? Okay.
It's an hour 20. It's short.
That's fine. Tom Hanks, he's sitting on a bus at a bus station. He has a little powwow with Elizabeth Shue. You're like, are they like husband wife or what's going on? But no, they're just lovers. And they love each other and they want to get married, but the world a crazy place with this war. And so they're not ready to get married. And so Tom Hanks knows what he has to do. He needs to end this war and stat. And so he's got his first command. It's a destroyer. First time going over the Atlantic Ocean. It's kind of crazy because he's like an old man. And in World War II, I felt like, a lot of young people were involved and not so many Tom Hanks 70-year-olds, but fine. And he's kind of older, but he's getting his first command. And they go out, and so they're basically going. Everything's fine as they have air cover. And then you see the airplane fly away, give some flashes real quick, a little message to say good luck as they kind of head off into the Black Pit.
I did like the Morse code through the light flashing, and then we got to see what they were saying. I thought that was pretty well done. Yeah,
and so while they're going out there, the big thing, obviously, that we got to watch out for, and we all know it because we're experts, submarines, in particular U-boats, and in particular, potentially, a wolfpack. Here, though, and they're keeping their lookout. Obviously, destroyer's all about it. Greyhound is in charge of all the defenses and stuff like that. And they intercept some transmissions from the Germans that suggest that something's afoot. And they go out and they see that there's actually a submarine on the surface, probably up there getting air or whatever, back when they had to do that. And they go out and they intercept this submarine, and they are able to get within firing range. So it seems like at this point he's new, and they have a bunch of he's super young on this destroyer, and they're all kind of looking side eye at Tom Hanks. One, he's new. Two, he's not eating or sleeping. Like, he is like a wreck of himself already, because he's got 3 days ahead of him trying to get to air cover, and like he's not eating anything. He's not sleeping at all. And so they're kind of like, ooh. And even as they're heading towards the submarine, because they're able to get it on radar first, like, oh, it's over there. And they start going over there. And one of the guys is like, hey, we should shoot at it now. And he's like, it's too far away. Wait until we have a visual. We're not going to rely on radar to just try to destroy a submarine with our guns. And they're like, okay. But as they get kind of close enough, the submarine dives, goes off of radar. They have to go to sonar. And everyone's kind of like, oh, yeah, they must have seen us. They saw us before we saw them, so we weren't able to fire on them. And so they kind of do a bunch of maneuvers. Eventually, it's kind of a cat and mouse game.
I like that.
And,
no, cat and game mouse.
Cat and game mouse. And
the
U-boat,
your face.
the U-boat tries to slip under the Greyhound. So like the guy who's on the things are like, it's coming under us. And they what do? They maneuver the ship around, and then they shoot depth charges. Right? They depth charge this first one.
Oh yeah, dude. They let loose with the depth charges.
Right.
Maybe a little premature, as we're going to find out here later.
Right.
But
yeah, so they depth charge the shit out of this submarine, and they're worried. Like, are we seeing it? Do we see it? And eventually they see the oil slick. It's not a trick. Don't worry, guys. I know if you've watched all the submarines, you're thinking that's a trick. They're coming back up. They're going to destroy this destroyer.
It even like felt like a trick because there was a guy that said, "Should we go search the debris to confirm this kill?" And he's like, "We don't have time. We have to catch back up to the convoy." And I was like, "This is the perfect time for the trick."
Right.
Didn't pan out. I don't know.
No, it was real in the end. But yeah, we also see a little bit of Tom Hanks's character at this point. Like he is very, very religious, and also like everyone's cheering. They're like, "Yeah, dead people, great," and they're loving it. They're like, "Oh yeah, we killed a bunch of people, awesome." But Tom Hanks, he's like, a bunch of souls on the bottom of the ocean. Not so into it. Let's get back to the convoy. So he's much more sober about the whole situation. But first kill, they're painting the Nazi symbol on the side of the destroyer, and everyone's pretty happy. But rear of the convoy, they're starting to get some distress rockets. And let me tell you, this is not the first distress rocket we're going to see in this movie.
Well, dude, distress. As soon as they announce, they're setting up distress rockets. Next shot's like, wow, that ship is completely engulfed in flames. Like, they should have sent that distress rocket out a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and then so they go back and they're able to kind of what do? They're getting fired on. They're avoiding torpedoes. They're able to rescue some people from the boat, and then I think the U-boat just leaves. Right? They don't get any U-boat at this point.
All of a sudden, we get some like. Wait a minute. Where am I at? Yeah, I'm trying to remember here. Yeah. Okay.
I think this is early. Right. It's just like a first attack.
They just go and retreat. They keep at bay. Yeah. They start to hear the radio that everyone's getting it on their sonar. All these different submarines, and there's 5 or 6 of them surrounding. There's a total of 7 in the movie.
Okay, so 6 of them are now around.
Because even at this point, a U-boat launches a torpedo, and it kind of like goes in front of the Greyhound. And we're like, we know they're there now.
It sounded like it's a tense scene, right?
It's
when that stuff happens, and there's only one kind of music that they would have played during that.
That's true.
I literally have in my notes. My notes say there's a nice visual of the submarine coming up out of the water, and a whale sound plays during it. That's literally what my notes says.
So yeah, and then much like
this is the Greyhound that I think comes up, right? Because that's the first time we see the wolf on the side of the sail.
The Greyhound is the ship.
The wolfpack.
Like the gray wolf. Pardon me.
And so they're waiting for nightfall, which is similar to the Humphrey Bogart movie. And they're basically gonna wreak havoc when visibility is not very good. And unlike in the Humphrey Bogart, where they're like, just turn off the engines, because probably the submarines would be like, okay, we're gonna torpedo you like crazy. They're still going around. All of a sudden, this night is the worst night of all of them. A bunch of ships are getting torpedoed. A bunch of ships are being destroyed. A tanker gets hit, and it's like going crazy and exploding and stuff like that. And they go over there and they try to go after the submarine, but it sends off a decoy, and the sonar guy only kind of later realizes that it's a decoy, and it's new. This is like new technology at this point, and they're like, yeah, it's like these little barrel things that they send off with bubbles, and it like tricks you. So, we learn about decoys there.
And then the wolfpack
end up firing off all their depth charges except for like 6 remaining depth charges.
Yeah, and everyone's running out of depth charges.
Full pattern takes like 34 or something, and also during this, like you get to see a lot of tense action. Like the U-boats are in the middle of the convoy. I mean, they're riding right up along people, just shooting at them and stuff. And it's so dark, and there's so much going on. At one point, the Greyhound is about to just get T-boned by a merchant ship, but they gotta just turn it, and then just like NASCAR, Rubbin's racing, dude. They start trading paint on the side of that boat.
Sure.
It's pretty, but Tom Hanks is like, he didn't even flinch when he was standing outside on the boat looking at it, and while it's just rubbing up, and he's like, At least we didn't die, I guess. So
Right.
were
Where
like
the young
inches
people
away.
pissed their like young guys pissed their pants, and he's like, "Oh, well, yeah, whatever,
yeah.
it's fine. It's not like we died."
Also, something right before this scene in the nighttime and like the night attack scene it's really cool. But do you remember like the sonar and all that started going down?
Yeah, so it's really, really cold, and so like things are all screwed up on the boats. So, like there's ice all over the windows. They're having trouble keeping things running, and the radar and the sonar are all. The radar is all screwed up, and it's foggy, and they don't know what it is. I think it had something to do with the weather or the cold.
Yeah, and they said we could try to fix it, but we'd have to reset it, and that would take hours. And we're like, okay, we're not going to do that. And then they flash forward hours later when they maybe. I don't know. We did, and the attack is going on. So it was maybe would have been a time to fix it, but who knows? They also don't know what the U-boats know about them, right? They don't know what they can intercept and what they can hear.
Yeah, so some people have gotten hurt with some of the gunfire, but they're able to survive the night, and they start to discuss the idea. The other thing they do is that the tanker explodes, and they have a decision to make. Do they rescue the people in the water of the tanker, or do they go and to the back of the convoy where like an attack is potentially going to happen? They decide to rescue the survivors, which was funny because like watching so many submarine movies, they posed the question to the captain, Tom Hanks, and they're basically like, do we stay for these survivors or do you go to the back? And I'm sitting there being like, submarine movies, obviously you go to the back of the convoy, come on. And Tom Hanks is like, we're picking up the survivors. And I was like, what?
I got to jump in here.
Yeah.
All right.
God.
What would you guys have done? I want to seriously know this. What would you do if you were captain of the Greyhound and you did it and you were faced with this obstacle, this challenge, with this uncertainty?
I would have gone to the rear to protect the convoy.
Okay.
It's hard to say. Like, it depends on what condition, I guess, the survivors are in. Like, are there lifeboats? Are they just floating there?
Looked like they were just floating, and like the
and you're gonna die in that water. I mean, that's 100%. You're not gonna live.
Yeah,
in that.
the conundrum is they will drown if you return to the back of the convoy to protect the other ship.
Yeah, I do think one thing that I wasn't necessarily accounting for, and I think why he ends up kind of regretting the decision, is that the number of people who probably die as a result of him not going to the back of the convoy is far greater than the number they were actually able to save, which is only 4.
Correct.
So they really really weren't able. It seemed like there was more survivors in the water than there actually were. And when they said like, oh, we got 4, he was like, wait, there was only 4. No, okay, that's all we can get. So that was also something that probably would have affected the decision. If they're like, there's 4 people in the water, but we got to go to the back, I think Tom Hanks probably would have been like, that makes me sad, but we got to go back to the convoy.
Yeah,
I would have probably got the people out of the water.
I probably would have too. Maybe that doesn't make us the greatest ship captains or whatever, right?
I would have done the people too, because you can guess what the future holds, but what you know right now is that there's people in the water dying.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. They said they had a radio transmission that said attack imminent, and I would have went back to the convoy to protect.
But we don't know what they were capable of. They, with their own devices, they may have been able to survive the attack. You could have had a misfired torpedo or anything. I mean,
yeah, we might have to.
But there are people going to die in the water.
He's no longer the ointment. He's cold-blooded.
I'm cold-blooded.
He's probably the best fit to serve as a captain, because we're
all
a little too compassionate. It sounds like.
Yeah, I would have turned that boat around and I would have yelled out, sucks for you, to the people in the water.
Jamie, you would have turned around and said,
"Don't tell me how to drive, you bitch."
I'd be like, "Dems the brakes" as I head off to the.
Wow.
The rest. Anyways,
I'm digging
Jamie the sociopath.
Anyways, next day they're all like, "We got to get to the air cover. How fast can we go?" Because they're doing zigzag patterns. They're trying to get out of the way of these U-boats. And it's basically slowing them all down. And like, how fast can we get there? And they say, I forget what it was, 16 hours or something. Like they can shorten it, but not as much as maybe you could think. Yeah, it wasn't nearly as much as you would think. It's not like they were like, it's gonna be 32 hours. Like, okay, what about straight course? Like 4 hours. No, it was basically they were gonna save some hours. And in the end, you see that's pretty important. that they did that, according to the story. So there's a bunch of taunting. There's a bunch of attacks with the U-boats. They sink some of them in different engagements. So one of them, it's him and 2 destroyers. They're kind of targeting 2 different U-boats, and the U-boat comes like right alongside the different boats, and they're like way under the guns. And this was funny. I was reading like the trivia, and this was something that was like a contention in how they depicted it, because the U-boat came right up along them, and they couldn't shoot with the guns. It was like going over the U-boat. Like, we can't shoot them with the guns. And the trivia says like that's like, that doesn't happen because the Navy, there's clear countermeasures to that. You basically turn the rudder, you list, and then your guns will shift down, and you can shoot lower into the water. And so it's a very common and well-known naval technique to counteract that. So it's kind of weird that it was depicted as something of an issue.
Jamie, you'll probably say this later, but is this based on a novel, a story,
some sort of? It's based on a novel called The Good Shepherd.
Okay.
And so I think this is maybe the second adaptation. This maybe not. This might be the only adaptation. But it was a Good Shepherd by C.S. Forester.
Is that fiction or nonfiction?
That is fiction. Yeah, all this is fake. It's not real.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's Greyhound and Dickie. Those are the 2 boats. Dickie gets kind of hit by a bunch of the fire and is a little bit damaged, but not so bad. And then also during this engagement, they get hit with a gun, and it kills 3 people on the boat. 2 sailors, but then Cleveland, who is his attendant. And we see Cleveland all the time just trying to take care of the captain. He's always bringing him food, bringing him more and more coffee because the guy's like wired and basically hasn't eaten or slept, so he needs something to keep him awake.
Played by Rob Morgan, who you'd probably recognize if you looked him up.
And yeah, he ends up getting killed, and it really shakes Tom Hanks up. Not enough to have him eat or anything like that. He still doesn't do that kind of stuff. But he's not, he's distressed by this. And they have like a all hands funeral for the sailors at this point. And the other thing, in kind of response to this fact that it seems like they're in increasing distress, they decide, okay, they've already went straight. They were also going to send a transmission, which is a really kind of risky thing to do. Because if you send the transmission, you kind of alert everyone to the whereabouts. So here there's wolfpack, but other people don't necessarily know where they are. And so they send a single word.
And it was like a desperation thing. They would know that the Greyhound was desperate as well if it's sent and said in a certain way. So they end up boiling the message down to like, okay, we'll just send the word help. It might be so short of a message that the Germans might not even pick up on it.
Right. And so they do that. And then they're getting really close. At this point, they're like 4 hours away from air cover or something. And so the U-boats, they come out and they're just like, this is when we get the Godzilla monsters all out attack at this point. In this case, the monsters being U-boats and Godzilla being the Greyhound. Right, Zach?
Yeah, of course. That's completely accurate.
That lines up. Although in this case, because I liked all the monsters and the Godzilla's all out attack, so I didn't like the U-boats in this one. I was not a fan. I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't a fan of the German U-boats.
Jamie's not a fan of the U-boats with their fancy little spray painted pictures and their trash talk and radio messages.
Yeah, so much arrogance with those radio messages. I was gonna say, does anyone else want to do a wolf call? Good one.
His wolf call was weird. It was. I thought it was great because it was like really disconcerting and made me feel something.
It was more like a ghost wolf.
Sure.
Can that be the name of a new movie, Ghost Wolf?
Right.
Ghost Wolf is pretty badass.
Yeah. It is, dude. You got 2 badass things, right? A ghost and a wolf.
You know what? I got a great Ghost Wolf. It could literally play to this.
That sounds like a ghost and a wolf.
It kind of does, and a whale, like Ghost Wolf whale.
Yep.
So, anyways, there's all kinds of torpedoes going everywhere. A torpedo like hits the Greyhound and like flies off or whatever. I don't even know. And then at one point, the Greyhound is right up against Grey Wolf, and it's like, "Hey, Grey Wolf, guess what? We're gonna shoot you with a bunch of stuff until you explode, and it does. It explodes in this giant thing, and everyone's like, yeah, Grey Wolf's out of there. But then there's another submarine on the other side, all lined up, torpedo ready, going crazy, ready to sink him. And we're like, Tom Hanks, he's dead. It's too bad. We all mourn for him. We have a funeral for him, all this stuff. We're like, oh, I can't believe Greyhound sinks at the end of Greyhound. But then what happens from
air support?
They get within range. There's a plane. It's got a bunch of like depth charge bombs, whatever, drops them on that G-damn submarine and explodes.
That's right.
And then everyone's super psyched about all of it. They get close to England. There's a bunch of boats. They're like, hey, Greyhound, you're pretty great. Is this like your 1,000th time crossing the Atlantic? It must be, because you seem pretty experienced. And Tom Hanks is like, actually, my first ever heard of it. And they're like, wait. And then Tom Hanks is like, oh, he's like, kind of like, oh, I know. And everyone on the crew is like, what? I didn't, what? And they're like pretty, into that as well. And they're like, okay, now take Dickie and whatever, the other boat, over to Londonderry. I mean, it's hard to, that's actually kind of a political, tough thing to say. What is it called? Derry or Londonderry? Who am I to say? But they say, take him to there. And, but Tom Hanks is like, hey, actually, I want to go the rest of the way. And they're like, no. And then that's that. That's the end of the movie, pretty much. He like goes and he like takes off his slippers, which are covered in blood because he was standing and for so long. And then he like prays for a second. And then everyone like cheers and loves him. And they're like, Greyhound, we love you. Whoa. And they're like the Beatles, but like a boat. And then that's the end of the movie.
That's it, man.
And the credits roll, right, guys?
Yeah, for like an hour.
There we go. The whales. I mean, if you thought you heard that a lot of times during the podcast, you didn't hear that a lot of times compared to what you're about to when you watch the movie.
There's a reason why I played that 3 or 4 times throughout this recap, and I'll get to it when I get to my review.
Oh, okay. Symbolism. Let's see. Brom, you look disgusted with us. Just that look on your face. You're like, these guys.
I've heard this whale sound, I'm pretty sure, more times during the podcast than was actually played in the movie. I think you guys are blowing it way out of proportion.
We're not, dude. Rewatch it.
Watch it for a third time.
Watch it and listen, man. You will hear it way more times than that.
I'll be way too clued in on it now. It'll be awful.
I don't know how you weren't. I don't know how you weren't at all. Because I remember I was just sitting here and I'm like, wait, what the hell was that? Like, was that a whale?
Like, how many times? Do you remember how many times it took you to kind of catch on to it, Kyle?
The very first time.
The first? Mine was the third time.
First time when I saw the subsurface and I heard the whale, I was like, what is that? Like,
how'd you know it was the third if you didn't catch it the first and second time?
Because it was just that same music. I was like, okay. Because like the second time I even remember thinking, because I was sitting there next to my wife and I'm just like, all right. And then it was the third time I'm like, this is a lot. Well, and then it was a fourth. And then it was the fifth. It was just so annoying.
It was the theme for the U-boats, I assume, right?
U-boat pretty much.
Anytime you saw them, or like there was like a
pan out of the camera.
Yeah,
which really wasn't a pan out because it was all freaking computer generated shit. Anyway, I'll wait for my review.
You just want to get into yours? You want to get into
ready. No. Yeah, okay. Maybe. Whatever. You lead, Kyle.
You want me to go?
I don't know. Yeah, sure. What the hell?
All right. I always go last, so yeah. Well, I guess we'll kind of invert this. I think there are positives, and I think there are negatives with this movie. But let's talk about some of the negatives first. As Zach talked and showed you, the whale sounds drove me up the wall when I was watching this. I don't know why. I was like, at first I was like, okay, we can do it. That's fine. But whatever. We'll deal with that. And what you also just mentioned, Zach, the green screen effect, all the computer animated stuff, that was a big thing that I really dinged Midway on. And I'm not like a big fan of just making a movie green screen, the whole thing. I don't know. That's not my style. Character development, we essentially had none. You guys mentioned Elizabeth Shue, and you totally left her out of the recap because it didn't even matter. She was in the movie for like 2 minutes, and then literally everybody on the boat, other than, I mean, Tom Hanks didn't get much character development at all.
He's religious. You find out he is quite religious.
But that's
and
it.
He's an old person.
Yep.
I mean, that's it. Okay. There are two things. And he's a hard worker, I guess. We kind of see his work ethic or whatever throughout the movie. But...
yeah, it is a little bit weird. They never dive into this idea of why wasn't he in command before? Was there something?
There's none of that.
Yeah, nothing about that comes up. Even though he is quite old for the position, it's his first time, and everyone's kind of surprised that he's his first time captain, kind of.
Yeah, and maybe
Elizabeth Shue even says he's like long overdue, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, she says that, and also something that I thought was kind of funny is he's like, "I want to marry you," and she's like, "Why don't we wait? You're going out to sea, and like, I want to do my own thing here. We can."
Which you know what that means, right, Kyle?
I know exactly what that means. What?
Oh, Brom.
Are those bottle rockets?
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
Yeah, exactly. And then, good God, we didn't get any closure on Hanks's character or the shoe situation.
The shoe situation, his feet.
Not his feet. The Elizabeth shoe situation.
There was a shoe situation. He had to take off his shoes.
Multiple shoe situations in this movie.
There were a few. And then
bloody monogrammed slippers.
Yeah, everybody's favorite. And then the bonus content. I watched the bonus content on this. I always find that stuff interesting, behind the scenes, how this movie was made, whatever. I really like that type of stuff. And I was pleasantly surprised that Apple Plus had that stuff, because that's my big thing with a lot of digitals is they don't have it. But these were super short. Each one of them was like 2.5, 3.5 minutes. And I mean, we're talking like 45 to 50, even to a minute worth of it was clips from the movie.
Yeah, actually, just to ask, because it's funny you bring that up, because I know you listened to the commentary for the last movie we watched, right?
Yeah.
And obviously they didn't have a commentary for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you like that kind of stuff, because that's the one thing I do miss a little bit about not getting like DVDs and stuff like that, is the commentary. I used to, do you know what I used to do? It's real nerdy. I used to burn from the DVD just the commentary, and then I'd listen to it as a podcast on my runs.
You are a nerd.
I would have the movie shaming. I would take my movie as I get it for a rental from Netflix or from a library or something, burn the commentary, and then listen to it.
I love that, dude. I love that.
Which is weird. Now that I think about it, now that I say it out loud, it just seems really weird that I did that for a while.
No, but I mean, like, if you know the movie and you love the movie, and like you can visualize where you're at in it, because like I remember
doing that with Cat in the Hat, starring what's his name?
Michael Myers.
Mike Myers.
Wow.
So that's definitely a movie I know and love.
There you go. That's why I still buy like movies that I like, or ones that I know I'm going to enjoy, especially like, I don't know. I'm a big fan of the 4Ks, so I still get those, and I really like.
You still get those because they're like the newest thing that's coming out.
Yeah,
you still get those.
Yeah, because they're new. Because they're new. I still have
how many
VHSs.
Kyle, real quick, how many repeats have you bought
of movies?
Yeah, because I'm in way too deep
on repeats.
On repeats,
right. Yeah. I was looking, like, I was flipping through my movies the other night, so I just bought. So this is kind of funny, actually, a funny situation. I got a 4K player or whatever a couple years ago, and then my parents bought me Godzilla 2014 on DVD for 1 year for Christmas.
DVD, then, you spoke correctly. DVD.
Yes. And then the next year they got it for me again on DVD for Christmas. And then I already had it on Blu-ray. And then it just released this week on 4K.
You got got you the same movie twice on DVD.
So I had to call him like, please quit sending me this movie. Like, this is too many times. So anyway, I've got that one, and then what else do I have? Saving Private Ryan, Gladiator, John Wick 1 and 2, Atomic Blonde.
God, I love Atomic Blonde.
I only got one, and it's a trilogy.
I got Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. And then there's others. I just can't think of them off the top of my head right now.
Sorry to cut in like that.
No, you're fine. So anyways, I'll go back to that was just the negative stuff with the movie. I do think there are a lot of positives here. For one thing that I thought this movie did exceptionally well was kept the tension like so freaking tight, and like the intensity was ratcheted up the entire time.
Gotta ratchet it up.
Just like up, turn that knob all the way up. Tom Hanks in this movie, I mean, he's probably going to be one of the greatest actors that we see in our lifetime. He's phenomenal. I think he does great in anything he does. So that's a big plus. Length of the movie, we have seen a lot of super long movies, and maybe this might play into some of my other stuff with how we don't get the closure, the character development, and all that type of stuff.
Do me a favor. Look at this.
Shit, I wasn't supposed to play that. I'm sorry.
Look at this.
I was saving that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My thumb hit enter.
So, I mean, length of the movie, I could go either way on it. It was, if we could have got more of what we wanted, like character development, all that type of stuff, yep, make it longer. But otherwise, for just a straight action movie. Okay, sorry, in the chat, I do also see that I'm getting some shade thrown at me here because I said Tom Hanks would be the greatest we see in our lifetime, but I did not mention Ed Harris or Sean Connery.
Okay. Yeah,
they're also incredible actors. Ed Harris obviously being the best. Probably tied with
David
Nick Cage.
Duchovny?
Yeah, David Duchovny.
Equal.
Maybe Tom Hanks, put him in like top 95, like the 95th spot. Something like that. But anyways, acting by everybody else in the movie I thought was really good. And what I really liked, I mean, I guess most of this that I really like has to do with Tom Hanks in the movie, is we saw the captain and like all that entails. Like he was just being run ragged the whole movie. And like he was the answer guy. Anybody came to him, he had to solve it. And there was some point in the movie he even said, like, you just have to make the decision and go with it. Something along those. Or maybe that was in the bonus content. I'm having a really hard time remembering. Anyway, I enjoyed it. Kept my attention. Didn't like the green screen stuff so much, but I think this is one that people should definitely probably check out. Zach is like, get out of here, Kyle. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 6.75.
6.75. I feel like it's even a little low because I'm going to come in. I'm going to come in a little hot. A little
I think
hotter
that was
than
the longest review in the history of Submersion.
That was so
might have
long.
been.
And Jamie, I'm sorry. I have to apologize.
20
but
minutes.
I will be right back. You obviously have to go with your review, but I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
I'm going to be doing a 7.5. I enjoyed watching this movie. I always appreciate a 90-minute film. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be terrible.
Sting.
But 90 minutes, great. No, I mean, the fact that
retract
Stinger
my
was not
statement.
2.5 hours long is definitely a positive. So right off the bat, I got to say, 90 minutes, loved it. Couldn't even believe it. I was stunned, and in a good way. And then, yeah, the tension is there. They really cut the fat of it. I presume this was supposed to be a much longer movie, and they decided to make it smaller. Maybe perhaps kind of a newer way of making movies, because I agree. It is a little bit strange just how little of this could have been filmed on anything larger than a single room. Because if you think about it, a lot of the movie takes place in like the bridge.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of filming in the bridge. Looking out
They've
windows.
got a big gimbal that they're filming on
bridge.
the whole time.
And then a few things on the side of the boat. And then otherwise, all of it could be computer generated. Big scenes on the ocean, all those airplanes, everything you see is all computer generated. So I do look at this in a similar way to, I don't know, like White House Down was one that I remember. Emmerich is a director who Roland Emmerich is a director who kind of does this kind of stuff where, you know, in the end, a lot of it is just like CGI. And really where the people are acting is almost secondary to it. So, you know, in some ways that's negative. If it turned out that the way that they were using that was to make more 40s, 50s style war movies, I'm kind of into that. Like, I'm fine with that being the idea. If the idea is we can't make a, World War II movie because it's too expensive to get all the boats and the submarines and everything together and get everything going, and the answer is this, then thumbs up. I'm good. I'm good with them doing that kind of stuff to get more of these types of stories to my face, into my eyeballs. Because I do enjoy watching this kind of stuff, and they ratchet up the tension, kept it lean. And yeah, they get to tell stories that are a little bit different. Like this convoy story, similar to what we saw with the Humphrey Bogart movie, is not one that necessarily you see every day on screen. So I appreciate that kind of stuff. Acting was pretty good. Story was pretty good. I think overall pretty good. I'm going to come in, I'm coming in hotter than Kyle, but not going to go crazy with it either. So I was going to come in at a 7.5.
All right. All right, I'll jump in here.
I did want to say before just that, given the Tom Hanks love on this program, quickly, lightning round, favorite Tom Hanks movie.
That's been going on in the chat here. So
The Burbs.
That's yours. Okay, interesting.
Love The Burbs.
Toy Story.
Brom. Okay, Brom's got Toy Story. Kyle, what do you got?
It's probably Castaway.
Interesting. I would say Big. Big is probably the one I've seen the most of the ones he's done. I've seen it so many times.
It's a good one. I like that one a lot.
All right.
Top 5 for me. Okay,
Brom,
I'll jump in. You guys have pretty much said everything that I felt about it. Visually, it was very exciting to witness. It was a visual spectacle. I mean, product of being only a year old, getting to see, contemporary technology used to portray the battles, which basically constituted the entire movie. It was just like little skirmish after skirmish after skirmish. There was really not much else to the movie, which kind of plays into the downside for me. Is it was just very remarkably shallow. No puns intended with the aquatic theming of that word, but there was really no character development or characters to really fall in love with or be enamored with or anything. Obviously, Tom Hanks got the most screen time, and as Kyle mentioned, seeing the decision making, the rapid fire decision making of the captain was cool. But outside of that, there was really not much going on with the physical people. It was more about the ship combat and, again, some of the visual effects and stuff that were taking place. The tension was just ratcheted up. That was really, neat. But I don't know how many of you watched it a second time, but I did watch this a second time, and I will say it was much worse the second time I watched it. I think in large part because all of the interest in this film that I had the first time I watched it was strictly about the battles and the tension there, which is removed when I know what happens in the movie. So there wasn't really anything else for me to latch on to in terms of the characters and the story of the characters and the story in general. Like, I knew where it was going. I knew how the battles ended. I knew they were going to sink the sub in this scene. That gets away in this one. They sink it in that one. So the excitement of the film was really removed the second time I watched it, and nothing there for me to latch on to.
What you're saying is you needed like a Tom Hanks, Elizabeth Shue, like intense sex scene.
Absolutely.
Like some character development for you to latch onto.
Full frontal, get some of that from Tom Hanks before he retires. Right. Before he retires, while he's still got, a body worth looking at. Let's get that on screen ASAP. And they didn't do it.
What has this turned into?
What?
What are you guys talking about?
Nothing. No. Don't worry. Just keep going.
I'm being dead serious.
I can tell.
So
he crashed.
I'm going to come in. If you would have asked me after the first time I watched it, I was going to give it a 7.5. After watching the second time, I watched Das Boot again, the 5-hour version, just to remind myself, because I didn't like this Greyhound the second time as much. Rewatched Das Boot. I went up from Das Boot from where I was giving it a 9.5 to that is a full 12 for me. Greyhound comes down from a 7.5 to a 7.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see that. I could see not really wanting to see or having to watch this again. Not wanting to watch it again.
Yeah, I don't think I ever need to watch Greyhound again. I wanted to watch Greyhound again after watching it the first time, and then realized there's nothing left for me there to pick up. That's it.
All right.
Now Zach's smiling about that. He's like,
okay, everybody, look at this.
Do me a favor. Look at this.
Okay.
Much better the second time.
Thank you. First time was a slip up. Wow. I'm actually shocked with how much love you three had for this movie. This movie has 0 rewatchability factor. You learn everything the first time. In fact, you actually only needed to watch the movie the first 30 minutes because once you see the first battle, you've seen all the battles. Movie's not good. The visuals are awful. It makes me want to choke because I feel like Hollywood is going into this route where they can just shove computer visual effects shit down my throat, and it all kind of like seemed to really start with The Hobbit, and I hated the Hobbit trilogy. I think it's trash, and if you like The Hobbit, stop listening to this podcast.
No. Still listen to the podcast.
No, The Hobbit is terrible, and this movie's terrible. It's the side cast is awful. There's no reason to care about these people. Cleveland, great potential, but no, he just dies, and his body, like his chunks of his body, just kind of shifted out of the thing in the water, and that was it. It was a little tear, but still nothing to really tell me why I needed to really give a shit about that character. And Tom Hanks' character and the woman, right, was pointless. And Tom Hanks was just the same face, except a little tired. And then he prayed and went to bed, and the movie ended. Literally, okay. So if you listen to this podcast and you heard this, then that's it. That's all you need. You don't watch the movie. Don't waste 90 minutes of your life. Use your 90 minutes to read a book. Use your 90 minutes to start Das Boot, for example. Use 90 minutes for anything other than this movie. I love Tom Hanks, but he wrote this movie and he should be ashamed because it's not good. It's just so damn basic, and
it's a basic B.
It is just so basic. Like there's just no depth to it. It is such a anti-depth charge. It was like, I'm trying to think of a movie I can compare it to, but I was so underwhelmed by this that I truly blame Apple, because it's probably Apple's fault because they ruin a lot of things. And wow, you guys gave it what, a 7.5 and a 6.75, Kyle?
Yeah. I know. Wow, you use my name because you're disappointed in me. I don't know.
Because I just don't. I will never watch this movie again, and I would not recommend this to anyone. So the only reason why I'm going to give it more than a 1 is because of the actual submarine footage in the film. And I have to take that into account because the entire premise of the movie is truly centered around submarines, the wolfpack. But my God, the whole German talking shit in the intercom was just. And then this. If you haven't turned off this episode yet, maybe you're going to love the movie then. I don't know. But I can't stand it. I'll never watch it again. I won't recommend it to anybody. I don't think the acting was great. The visuals weren't great. The music, who's the guy? I wrote his name down because he should be ashamed. Blake Neely did the music. Blake Neely, if you ever listen to this was trash and you can do better. So challenge yourself to do better than this movie because you can be. Tom Hanks, use your fancy typewriters that you like to collect and talk about on shows and podcasts. Type something better. And a budget of $50 million, I think we could have done this for $10 million and did a better job.
Oh.
So
challenge accepted.
Yeah, challenge accepted. Not great. 2.5. Fuck this movie.
All right. A
wow.
2.5 fuck this movie review.
And
oh, there it is. There it is.
Including the fart sound.
Oh wow. You do bring up a lot of good points. I just feel like I should go after Zach because he influences me a little bit. I'm not going to change my score because that'd be...
Yeah, I feel like he's going to chase away some people from watching this, which, again, 3 people telling you this is a very, very, very watchable submarine film.
But then you said you'd never watch it again. It's a one and done.
I've watched it twice.
Yeah.
I don't need to watch it a 3rd time. I thought it was good enough to watch 2 times, though, which is... only other one I've watched 2 times now is Das Boot.
It's outrageous, dude. Not even Hunt?
Nope.
Not even...
Crimson Tide?
Heck's the one? No.
Crimson Tide would probably be the next one I would watch a 2nd time.
Phantom is always rewatchable.
There's some of the ones I gave a weak review that I'd actually like to go back and rewatch, like Operation Petticoat, pretty high up on my list.
All right, so enough of the 4 of us.
Yes.
What time is it, Kyle?
Yes. I love it. No. I hate it.
Still here.
I know. Yeah, don't go away. I got to fix that so it doesn't just go to a black screen.
All right, gang. What do you want to hear? Love it or hate it?
Let's do hate it first.
Okay.
Is it your review?
This
is by ZBone69. I'm just kidding. This comes from, I got to read this correctly, Doors Scorpy Wag. July 10th, 2020. Unbelievable. The biggest problem with this film was Tom Hanks. He is a good actor, but overrated. And his performance here was terrible. Mind you, the screenplay he wrote was pretty thin, and he did not have that much to do anyway. He kept asking for things from his cabin, and I expected him to eventually be sitting in a bath chair, smoking a pipe, reading Kipling, which would have been good for the crew, as he was an idiot. Mind you, not as stupid as the Germans, whose tactics seemed to surface next to the Greyhound in broad daylight and shoot it out. At the end, a British captain, after receiving Hanks' report, said, "Unbelievable," and it was. The British movie, The Cruel Sea, 1953, had a believable portrayal of the Atlantic War and the effect it had on those who kept watch and fought and died there. It was superbly acted and totally believable. Greyhound was a joke of a film, not as bad as the laughable U-571, but a joke all the same. Perhaps with a non-star name and less money spent on explosions and more on an actual script, it might have been half decent. 1 out of 10.
Man. The Cruel Sea, huh? We'll have to...
yeah, I just looked it up. It looks like it's a pretty good one.
I'd say add that one to the list. And I don't know, U-571, I liked it.
Yeah.
Very, very.
But you didn't love it, and that gets us to love it.
Love it. Paul Van Cranest. Paul Van Cranest. July 12th. What was that? 2 days after this guy? 2 days after this guy. 2020. I sat on the tip of my chair the whole time.
Tip.
At last, a real war movie. This is almost as good, Das Boot. Seen from the other side. The movie shows the fear and the tension of the crew, having to ride out the dangerous crossing of the Atlantic. Those men were no superheroes, just ordinary men thrown into a situation that no man can withstand. They have no time for chit-chat or jokes or moral discussions. They were fighting for their lives. The slightest misjudgment could make the difference between life and death. No time is wasted on romance, like in Pearl Harbor, or on sentiment and yee-hawing, like in Midway. No patriotic speeches. All they did was survive. the best war movie since a very long time. 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Well then.
I mean, they would say that this is better than 1917
or Dunkirk.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know. Whatever.
It's what it is. Whatever.
Okay.
Should we get some trivia?
Let's get some trivia, man.
I'm going to do the basics here. This was obviously an Apple Plus movie, although it wasn't originally supposed to be. It's a $50 million budget, and it was supposed to be a big motion picture release through Sony Pictures, but that was canceled due to a little thing called COVID-19 pandemic. You guys ever heard of that one?
No. What is it?
Nope.
All right.
Well,
is that the
I'll tell you about it later.
Zach was talking about that I said sounded like a lot of bullshit or whatever earlier? Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, Kyle, you said this, right?
And so, anyways, yeah, it got released all streaming on July 10th, 2020. And basically, it was more or less, I think it was one of the first ones that was kind of doing that as actual, like a major motion picture. We're going to throw it straight to whatever. I guess, like, was it Bloodshot or something? Was another one that did it really, really early in the pandemic.
Jamie,
but
was it supposed to go to theaters, though?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And then all the shooting, all the filming was done aboard the USS Kidd, or at least all the, obviously not all the CGI. That was done elsewhere. But on the USS Kidd, which is in Baton Rouge, it's a destroyer museum ship in Baton Rouge. And that's where all the filming was done. It was nominated for a single Academy Award, which was probably a disappointment for the makers. It only got nominated for Best Sound, which is the same category that things like Transformers gets nominated for. So that tells you something. And then, yeah, this was the 24th most watched straight-to-streaming title of 2020. And it was reported as saying this was commensurate with a summer theatrical box office big hit, which I always find amusing because none of these things make any sense. Exactly what they mean. But yeah, it being the 24th most streamed title, I'm not sure what that actually means. But I do believe it's still the biggest release on Apple Plus.
What do you think Tiger King was? Was that number one?
That's not a movie, though. I don't think.
That's a series, bro.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
I mean, but still, that deserves top spot.
Yeah, the only other thing I'd mention is that I found this review by Michael Phillips to be kind of funny. It's he gave it 3 out of 4 stars. He said, like the canine Greyhound. It's trim, narrow of scope, and it runs efficiently. I just find that just like amusing that's what he decided to go with in terms of his review.
I do like that. I mean,
yeah, I don't think there's anything really. I mean, there's a lot of trivia on IMDb, but nothing was necessarily popping out. They usually put a bunch of stuff on here in terms of collaborations and stuff. It's not super important. Don't even worry about it. I guess the only other thing I'd say is that this is the third movie Tom Hanks actually wrote. Does anyone else know any of the other ones he wrote?
I even thought I looked it up. Did he write more movies?
Oh yeah, he did. That thing you do.
Oh.
Doing that thing
you do.
And did he write
Larry
Lady
Crown.
Killers?
No, he wrote Larry Crown.
Coen Brothers.
Yeah. Larry Crown, That Thing You Do, and Greyhound. Those are the 3 he's written. Phantom Zone.
Engage the Phantom.
Phantom's engaged, sir.
And no need to even get into too much about it. Thomas Kretschmann is the voice of the Grey Wolf. Woo. That's a good one. It makes it. It's a very German wolf in the end. And yeah, there's no connection obviously to Ed Harris. He was, Tom Hanks and him, notable rivalry, never going to work together on a film. So there was just no way of doing it. But it was interesting.
Other than Apollo 13?
No, never. Actually, that was the whole thing. They'd never appear in the same scene together. That was like part of the contracts. But it was funny though, because like Greyhound, that was actually Ed Harris's nickname in college. If you know what I mean.
Why is that, Jamie?
What? I think you can interpret that for yourself.
No, please, I want to hear.
I think you can figure it out.
My God.
Hey,
And
FYI, I need to cut in real quick.
Yeah.
There's a chance I lose power. We have a severe storm going on.
Wow.
So just an FYI. to everybody. And if I die, this is it. So
if you die, was this the last movie you watched?
I'm going to be so disappointed if this is the last movie.
You're going to be dead. You won't know.
And then,
but
I'll tell everybody at your funeral, though. I'm like, hey, yeah, thanks for coming. Last movie Zach watched was Greyhound.
And people are like,
yep. And then,
that's embarrassing.
In terms of trivia,
did you hear that whale noise like 50 times that movie?
You have it playing.
Yeah, Zach loved it.
People walk into my funeral and it's just. Oh shit.
And then we're not going to do the whole. I found an entire Jeopardy round all about just greyhounds, the dogs, greyhounds.
Why are we doing that?
But we're not going to do that. We're just going to do one question. It's a $2,000 question for the Greyhound one. Buzz in if you think you know the answer. The Greyhound originated more than 5,000 years ago in this African country where it was used to hunt gazelles.
The Congo.
Buzz.
Zach.
Ghana?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, Buzz. I don't even think they're here. I don't think they're here. Oh, maybe Kenya.
Not Kenya.
That's a good guess.
That's what I would have guessed. I would have been wrong.
Thanks, Jamie.
Rob, you got a guess?
I said the Congo.
Not the Congo. It is Egypt.
Oh, that was my first guess.
Wow.
That was my first
Egypt
initial guess, but I'm like, are gazelles in Egypt?
I didn't think they were that far north.
I ruled that out big time. I was like, nah, not Egypt.
And that's that.
You got us, Jamie. You win.
Oh, dude, I was between. I was
should have known though
Egypt.
with the short coat and everything.
Yeah. Feel like an idiot. Well, I did the world's longest review tonight, so I didn't want to burn up any time with the subs worldwide. So,
right.
Rom, if you got something for us?
Tube 3, ready to fire, sir.
Yes.
Tube 3, ready to fire, sir.
Commence the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Give it to me.
Do not send this episode in for any awards. Just in case it needed to be said. So for my countdown tonight.
Please submit this episode for awards.
Submersion tries to win an award.
Retract any nominations, please.
That's our next show. It's just us trying to win an award.
Oh my God. I would love to do that. Could you imagine our reviews would be like epic?
We'd have to put pen to paper, be very well rehearsed. We'd have to have a dress rehearsal for the episode.
We're all wearing tuxes. Oh my God. We need to do it. We need to do it.
Yeah, I'd wear a tux for one of the episodes.
I'd wear a tux too.
Absolutely. Let's do it next week. Let's just do it. I'm sold on it. For my countdown tonight, I got a little something called It Takes Two Toms to Tango. Can you guess what this might be?
We're guessing between. Yeah.
No, it's Tom Hanks and Thomas Kretschmann going toe to toe in this film that we watched, The Greyhound versus the Grey Wolf, inducting Tom Hanks into the ranks of submarine movie actors. He's got a lot to catch up with Thomas Kretschmann, though. I'm going to do some fun facts. You got to tell me which one the fact is attributed to, whether it is Tom Hanks or Thomas Kretschmann. They're very difficult tonight. Very difficult. Okay. So got 7 of them. Here we go. The first one. This actor crossed 4 borders and lost part of a finger with nothing more than $100 and a passport in his pocket in order to escape communism.
That's Thomas Kretschmann.
Tom Hanks. Damn it.
Wow. Thomas Kretschmann, you guys got it. Half point to Zach. This next one, this might get you. Number 6. Although Tom Hanks is the voice of Woody in the Toy Story movies, This actor's younger brother is the voice of Woody action figures and Woody in the Toy Story video games.
This is Tom Hanks.
That's correct. It's Tom Hanks.
His
younger brother, Jim Hanks,
Wait, seriously?
lends his voice. Yeah,
Jim Hanks.
Yeah, Jim Hanks. Have you ever seen a movie with Jim Hanks, Bron?
No, I've not. I've seen Colin Hanks movies.
Yeah,
I like
so Jim
Hanks.
Jim Hanks has done a couple movies, and some of them are not necessarily the best. So I don't know if you knew this, I have a website called BambooTwins.com. It's BambooTwins.com, and we may have partaken in some Jim Hanks productions.
I had no idea Jim Hanks even existed.
I'm looking up Jim Hanks right now, and
yeah,
I can see it.
Yeah,
he must sound like Tom, though, from what I gather.
Yeah. Buford's Beach Bunnies. That's the one. Buford's Beach Bunnies. That's the movie.
All right, check it out. Check it out, listeners. Number 5. This actor is only the second actor ever to win the Oscar for Best Actor in back-to-back years.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Crashman.
So Kyle, or anyone, what are the two movies?
One's gonna be Forrest Gump. The other one's
Philadelphia.
Yes,
I think that's probably it, right?
That is correct. 93 and 94.
And then he could have done the trifecta with Apollo 13, but they said nay.
Does anyone know who the other actor is? It's from the 1930s.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Spencer Tracy.
Spencer.
Man.
Number 4, this one, definitely a tricky one. This actor has played a Nazi officer in 11 different films.
Kretschmann.
Obviously, Tom
Hanks.
Right.
Here's Thomas Kretschmann. Number 3, I already heard this one thrown around, so at least Zach knows about it. But this actor owns over 250 typewriters. He wrote a book about typewriters in 2017 and developed an app that emulates the sound and haptic feedback of an antique typewriter.
Seriously?
Ed Harris.
Tom Hanks. That's true.
It's Tom
That's insane.
Hanks.
AKA
he's all
the
about
Greyhound.
typewriters.
I guess I'd say that's insane, but then he'd be like, you guys have literally done 135 episodes of sub movies. So
He'd be jealous.
You think so?
So what you're saying is we should shift to season 2 typewriter movies.
Typewriter.
Tom Hanks in there, co-host.
Typewriter.
Push Brom right into that torpedo tube and get Tom Hanks on board.
I don't know.
I think we could get Jim on board?
Jim Hanks.
Well, package deal. Tom Hanks and Jim.
There we go. We'll get that going.
All right.
Number 2, this actor was training to be an Olympic swimmer before becoming an actor.
Kretschmann.
With missing finger? No way. It's got to be Tom Hanks.
That was before he got the missing finger, man.
Oh, so he's like...
He was training to be an Olympic swimmer in communism and then was escaping communism and lost part of his finger.
Tom Hanks.
Thomas Kretschmann.
Damn it.
And finally, this actor used the F word 89 times in one of his films.
That's Kretschmann.
I don't even know if I know one scene that Tom Hanks says the F word.
Exactly. Well, that one scene in Toy Story.
Oh, yeah, when he says, fuck toys.
Right. He says that line exactly.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to fuck Mary Bo Peep or whatever her name was. Little Bo Peep.
Is that the sex sound that you've got queued up there? That's what that is?
That's the sex sound.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
All right. You guys going Thomas Kretschmann?
Yeah, it's got to be.
All right.
No. Tom Hanks.
All right. Zach, you got it. It's Tom Hanks. You said the F word. You said the F word 89 times in the film The Lady Killers.
I would have thought maybe like Charlie Wilson's War was another one I was thinking about. But
I never saw Lady Killers.
Charlie Wilson's War is PG-13, I think, so you can only get a few of those, yeah.
And that is, it takes 2 Toms to tango.
Wow. But it takes 2 to tango. Or something like that.
I've actually said it takes two to tango on this podcast before. It was on the Steven Seagal episode. Whatever
really
movie that was.
Movie by him?
Submerged. Yeah.
We need more Seagal.
Because he was doing all those like stupid quotes like with that Cajun accent, and I remember I was like, "It takes two to tango."
Dude, he
Cajun accent is so funny.
It was so amazing. I too am interested in mind control. Like,
yeah, talk about a movie I want to watch again.
He's something else. I just think of that one video of him going to that. Remember that, Kyle?
Oh
he goes
my
to that
god, dude, that video is
like
so
volunteer,
good.
some shit.
Have you guys seen that? Where it's like, there's some martial arts tournament, and he's just looking so rough.
His mouth is just like a jar, just like
he's like, oh my god.
He just goes like, people flip around.
Yeah, dude, he's just like low key kicking the shit out of people who are clearly acting, and then somebody just sits down in the stands afterwards and watches, just like, okay, whatever.
Sucks.
He's like, at least I got paid to be here, I guess.
Oh my god.
Now, has it been confirmed? Is there a sub in Under Siege or no?
Yeah, there's definitely a sub in Under Siege.
All right, there we go. There's another Seagal movie we got to get going.
I like it on YouTube.
Maybe we'll watch it next week. Want to do it?
Yes. Let's get our Seagal back. Go hit April strong.
And maybe
does that fall on April Fool's Day?
Oh my god, it does.
Could we record on April Fool's Day?
I can't.
Oh shit.
You know what? I can't. I'll figure it out.
I thought he was going to say April Fools.
No, April Fools. That isn't April Fools.
I should have, but no, I can figure it out.
Dude, and I know we're all hoping. We are all really hoping.
Godzilla
versus King Kong. Come on.
I think there will be, Kyle. I'm very hopeful.
There's been subs in 2014 and the new one, so
I think there's going to at least be one scene of a quick flash of just some sort of a rocket or something coming out of somebody doing something. I really do.
I mean, even in the previews, you see him like getting next to cruisers and stuff, and there's gotta just be one.
Yeah, there's got to be one scene of his tail swiping something.
My only counter to it is that I presume it takes place mostly on land, given that King Kong is heavily involved.
Well, if we're talking theories on Godzilla versus Kong, I think there's going to be more Godzilla on the water than you think, because I don't think it's Godzilla. I'm calling it right now. It's Mecha Godzilla. I swear I think that's going to be it.
Kong versus Mecha Godzilla?
Well, no, it's going to be a situation. They showed it in the trailers. They said, that doesn't look like Godzilla. That doesn't act like Godzilla. Why would Godzilla be doing that? It's because it's not Godzilla. It's Mecha Godzilla. It's Mecha Godzilla, and it's going to be a fight, and then eventually something's going to happen, and then the real Godzilla comes out, and it's going to be Godzilla and Kong against Mecha Godzilla, who will lose. But then Mecha King Ghidorah shows up right at the end of the movie, because at the end of the second movie, they showed Ghidorah's one head. Right, which is a very common enemy in the Godzilla universe, is Mecha Ghidorah. So, boom. Wow. Which will link it.
Makes me actually want to watch it.
It's going to be sweet. I think this movie is going to be awesome.
I'm really hoping so. These are always fun movies, regardless.
Yep, it's going to be twisty. It's going to have a lot of excitement, a lot of action. There's going to be twists and turns, which will be Mecha Godzilla and King Ghidorah at the end.
Well, for bad movies, I'll allow this one to be good in exchange for Mortal Kombat being bad. As long as Mortal Kombat can be horrible, I'll be happy.
I forgot there's one of those coming out.
Oh, yeah.
I keep seeing all kinds of ads from it. And there's very conflicting remarks made by the director. One of them, he's like, this movie is like, it was like we were making Bambi because we had to tone down the violence so much from the video games. And then in another one, he's like, we turned the violence up like just before we could get to NC-17 and then turned it back down. I'm like, wait, what? Like you literally just said one thing and then another. I'm like, what's going on here?
Does it have a rating?
R.
Oh, okay. Good.
We're talking a hard R too.
I didn't say, it needs to be hard. R.
All right. You got anything for us tonight?
Hit it.
Zach Facts, it's Zach Facts. When you're going down, get some Zach Facts when you're going down.
gonna. God.
Rewatch it, bro. Third time.
I'm gonna go over under 4.5 tonight again.
I'm going under.
I'm going over.
Alrighty, gang. Here it is. The moment you've all been waiting for. The official Zach Facts Tom Hanks edition.
Daddy, chill. What the heck? Daddy, chill.
Oh, I fucked that up. All right, anyway. Okay. Zach Facts All Tom Hanks edition. Fact number 1. Tom Hanks was known as walking onto the set and being delighted when he discovered that someone stole all those lamps.
What lamps?
All those lamps.
Tom Hanks would walk onto the set and was delighted
Delighted.
that someone stole all of his lamps.
I really like that one now. There's nuance to it.
Fact number 2.
Brom, do you get it?
I get it. I don't get why Zach did it though. I don't. Delighted. Remove lights. And lights are.
Now he's starting to see the genius behind it.
I'm sure. Okay. I'll give it to you. It was fantastic.
This is a special. This is a let's say this. It's the all Tom Hanks edition, aka the terrible edition of Zach Facts for this movie, which is terrible. Okay. Fact number 2. Tom Hanks was so bored on set that if he wasn't a boy, he wouldn't have had anything to play with.
Good God.
I get it. Flat of the board.
Jamie's eyes just got wide. He's like, oh, what?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, you haven't watched our live Twitch streams of this, please tune in for the facial expressions, if anything.
Jamie was over this before you even started.
Yeah. Fact number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Fact number 3. Tom Hanks's wife Tom Hanks's wife said sex is so much better on holiday in a postcard she sent to him.
Nice.
Jamie doesn't understand.
No, I understand.
I think he's where I was on the first one.
Okay, let's swing it back. Fact number 4. Ready?
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Tom Hanks complained all the time about the Velcro on his costume. Every day he said, "What a ripoff."
Oh, these are good. This is the dad joke special.
It's like the Bob Hope version of Zach Facts.
All right. This is it. Last Zach Fact. That's 5. Ben wins. Ben wins.
Here we go.
Ben, you got it.
I know. Thank you.
Fact number 5 and the last fact for this Tom Hanks special, all Tom Hanks edition of Zach Facts, featuring all Tom Hanks edition. Okay. Last one. Tom Hanks was very strict on set. He made everyone call him Tommy Hanky Panky.
I like that one.
Oh my God.
I'm out of here, guys. I'm out of here.
Thank you for listening to Submersion. Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every Thursday. If you like what you heard, please leave us a rating wherever you listen. Want to interact with us? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also love to get messages from all of you. If you have a suggestion, a comment, or just anything you'd like to share, please email us at macestudios@gmail.com.